G'day, I'm Brian, and today I'm going to talk about the Sealife SportDiver Ultra, I'm getting used to the name, underwater smartphone housing. So this is for your underwater adventures. If you're not going to get into some sort of heavy rig, you're not going to be an ultra serious underwater photographer, but you're thinking, what can I do apart from buying a whole rig with a new DSLR or a mirrorless camera and a giant rig to carry around the world? I carry around enough land-based photographic gear to not want to do that myself. So this is going to be for casual diving. I'm not a professional diver at all, but I started spearfishing and skin diving when I was about 9 years old. It's been a little while. I have dived in some of the nicest places in the world, around Komodo, Tahiti, Red Sea, of course the Barrier Reef here in Australia, where else, Belize, and I'm sure there's a couple of others significant places that I haven't thought about, but haven't done underwater photography yet. So this is basically an unboxing, which I've already done, and just to give you an idea of how intuitive this thing is to use and how it feels in the hand. So this is the box it comes in, and the only significant bit you've got to know about the box, I guess, is that right here on this side is a QR code. So you can scan the QR code when you've got it. Hopefully you've been online already to check whether your phone's going to fit in here. It will fit a lot of phones, whether Apple or Android phones. But what it also gives you is the, when you've got to set it up, they give you these little rubber stoppers that go inside there to help you fit your phone and hold it in place. So that'll tell you which rubber stoppers it needs for you, for your phone. My phone is the iPhone 7 Plus. I got the Plus because I can shoot in RAW. So I'm serious enough that as someone who edits land-based photos, that I want to be able to, use the color grading and a few more advanced features that I use in CapCut to hopefully bring out better colors and clarity, etc. with the footage that I get. So I'll be shooting in, what is it called, ProRes, I think it's called, in here, and I'll be doing both stills and video. As I've never been underwater with this thing yet, I won't know. I'll be snorkeling. It'll be mainly shallow water diving. But anyway, let's get on with it. So we have here, we've got the app that you download with this smartphone housing, the Sealife app. It's free. Then you open it up, there it shows up on the camera, and eventually it'll go like dark and give you some instructions. Now, a couple of the things that they recommend to do is that you should set your phone up on airplane mode and put it into do not disturb, and they kind of got that, if you can read that there, that's what comes up. Now, this is the carry bag that it comes in outside of the box like that. I weighed the whole thing, and it weighs 1.4 kilos. So it's not exactly super lightweight either. 1.4 is not going to be anything like a phone. That's not including the camera. So it's 1.4 for all the stuff you've got in there that you have, that it comes with. It comes with this this wrist strap lanyard thing that goes on here. I've already set that up on the side. You've got all these different rubber, as I said, rubber stops that go inside there. What else is there? There's a couple of batteries to power the thing up. You've got this, I don't know if I'll be able to get it out. Let me have a look if I can get this open immediately. So, sorry, got to press the side button in red. And there's like there's your little latch there, like that. There's a little red button underneath that you press to be able to turn it, to originally open it up. And that's the inside. There's a little moisture muncher, so if it gets any extra water in there, that comes with it. You can buy extras. Not sure how that's going to hold up, how long that's going to be. I hope it's at least for the trip we're going on, because we're going to be in Galapagos doing both over and underwater photography. So hopefully that's going to last that long, because I haven't bought any extras. It comes also with this red filter on the front there that just kind of, let me have a look. Oh, there you go. Eventually comes off pretty easy. It's just the way I was doing it. So that just comes on and off, red filter. Not sure whether I'm going to need a red filter for the depths I'm going to be diving with, but it's there anyway. And it doesn't come with every model, so just check it out if you're going to look at one of these things. If you buy, they've got like an S diver that they bought out 12 months ago or something like that, and you've got to buy that red filter separately as well. So it comes with the Ultra, which came out, which was the updated version of the SportDiver about a year ago again, or something around that time. So it comes with those. They're kind of like the standard things it comes with. I'll just plonk that back on there. Clips on like that. Okay, that's fine. What else does it come with? Okay, that's basically it. Oh, it comes with, comes with this little vacuum pump thing. Okay, so when you first fire it up, and you got some lubrication for the outside rim of here to make sure that it's a better seal, so that comes with it. Again, you can buy extra, and I guess that's one of the things that they're going to hit you up for over time, is to, you know, spend money on these little bits and pieces of this, the moisture munchers, stuff like that. But when you first open it up, and I won't do it exactly, is that inside here you've got there's an on button here. It'll come on, and then a light will come on for the Bluetooth which blinks. It'll tell you when it goes solid that it's connected to your phone. It'll first show you a little, it's like a dial, a dial plus like a meter, and it'll tell you whether it's sealed properly or not. Now generally it's just going to go, well, no, it needs to be sealed. And then you take the vacuum pump here, you place it on top, you pump it a few times, and you'll see the dial on this meter change to yes, there is a proper seal. So I don't think all these smartphone housings come with that. So I think that's kind of handy to have that, to kind of give you a bit of extra safety there for sealing. It also says that it comes with a second warning light if there's moisture that gets into it. One thing I've read about on forums, when people have asked about different smartphone housings, this and others, is people will say, well, I'm not going to take my $2,000 phone and take it anywhere near underwater. Well, I guess it's either that, if you want to do underwater photography, you've got your GoPro or Insta360, stuff like that. If you want to take this, your phone, because as far as photography goes, your phone is going to be a lot better than some of these things like the Insta and the GoPro. But I've heard a lot of people go, I'm not going to stick my phone in an underwater housing and risk it getting flooded and break. But I mean, it's either that, if you're going to get into some semi-serious, or you hope there's going to be some good footage or photos, is to buy a rig that weighs a ton, that you're going to put a very expensive, well, you can get lesser models, but you're still going to put a DSLR or a mirrorless camera in, and if that floods, it's the same deal. So, I don't know. Is it an argument for some? Yes. Is it for me? Well, I'm either going to have this rig and use my phone, and potentially a very small chance something will go wrong, or I'm going to get a giant rig and that could potentially get flooded as well for whatever reason, and destroy a camera. But anyway, that's besides the point. So I put the phone in there and I've had a look through the dial. So in the back here, I'll start with the front. Here is your trigger mechanism. So this red button here operates, either you click it and it fires off a photo, or you click it to start and stop your video. Now these dials on this side, these little buttons, okay, they are for your menu and your mode, so you can change it from camera to video, and it'll change, you can change your shutter speed or your frame rate for video, or you can change from auto white balance to manual white balance. From memory, it did have 3 like presets for white balance, kind of shallow water, mid water and deep water, along those lines, the wording. So you can change basically the camera functions. You can change on your phone, you can change with those. Now when I had it in there, how did I found kind of manoeuvring around the menu? To be honest, it's a little bit clunky. You know, it's not, if you're used to having like a DSLR or a mirrorless camera and you're used to the menu on the back of the phone, you're just pressing the dial and things are flicking through it quickly, it's a bit clunkier than that, these buttons, but it does function. It's just going to take a bit of time to get used to slowly moving through the menus. However, you can obviously, before you go in and use this underwater, you can go in and basically do all your basic setups, your frame rate for your phone, frames per second, or whatever you want to do for your video. You can kind of get all that set up with a bit of an idea. Now, reading online, I'm going to set mine up for 4K 60 and then slow it down in the timeline to smooth out kind of like, any kind of waviness or up and down motion or whatever. So that's what I'm going to be starting off at with the phone for video, and I've probably got it set on the fastest shutter speed for the phone settings and a couple of other sorts of things that you can use in there. Now, they do come with a a number of different things that you can get, accessories. So they have a wide angle lens, and they've got a larger dome lens that comes with it. I've read different things about those. I'm just going to set mine on wide. What I found is again, with this housing, okay, so at the top here, these kind of long rectangular narrow strips, and you put those in there, so when you put your camera in there, there's no reflections that come through. It kind of blocks out any open space between your camera lens and the top of this housing here. You put that in there. What I've found is if I use on my phone ultra wide, it actually starts to read some of the stuff inside here. So you'll see like a black line. It could be on ultra wide, I just need to take that strip out. But mostly they recommend just use it on wide angle anyway, we shall see. But you put those in there to block those out, and they all come with this rig here. As I said, they've got a couple of, a few different accessories. If your model doesn't come with the red filter, you can buy those. You can get the extra moisture munchers, the extra lubrication, the dome lens, 6-inch dome lens they've got for this that goes on there. I have read, my reviews of the 6-inch dome lens weren't great. I'm just going to, it's mainly used for like over underwater shots. Okay, so you can get kind of like the skyline with the water underneath, which a lot of obviously serious underwater photographers already know about. But I've heard not great stories about that. So at the moment I'm not going that lens on this, so I'm not going to worry about those. Again, I might try and see what I can do with ultra wide on my phone anyway at some stage, but firstly just make sure I get some footing with the settings or the lens I know on my camera that's going to work okay. Of course, you can also use these buttons will help you zoom in and out as well as per your phone, so it'll do that. Now, the one accessory I did buy was this handle. So it's a Sealife handle for this. What I found was when I first got this rig was, okay, it's kind of got the grip, a bit of a grip here that you can hold on to. You got your wrist strap that you can put in here, and that feels okay. But it was very easy, trying to get a good grip on this side to put your finger right in front where the lens is. You keep seeing your finger. If you're not paying real attention, you're probably going to do that. You'll be concentrating on something you try to video or photograph and put your finger there. Also, again, like you don't want to, you've got this wrist strap, to help you, if it comes loose from your hand, not drop it to the bottom of the ocean. But once I set this handle up on the other side, man, did that help with stability. So for me, this was, I ummed and ahed, got to buy more stuff. But 100%, when I hooked this up on there and held that like that, the stability was far better. You got an extra holding point for the rig, so you got your wrist strap and this hand strap on the other side. So again, just another safety measure. Now, one of the other things that they tell you about on their when you're doing some videos on this from Sealife is that when you go to clean it, when you're finished with it, you take the whole rig, you don't unlatch it, phone's still inside, you've got to soak it in water, for cold water, fresh water for 20 minutes. I mean, there's going to be a lot of places people dive where they don't have access to, somewhere like even a basin. I'm not sure. We're in Galapagos, we're in an Airbnb. So maybe they'll have a basin in the bathroom that's big enough, but, it could be that when you first get out of the water, it's going to take you an hour and a half to get back to land-based to even wash that. But the thing is, they tell you, is to hold it like that once it's, and get the excess water off it once it's been soaked, and then carefully open it up, making sure the phone doesn't fall out, and then open it like that. Okay, you're going to have to be, again, careful. It does hold it in place, but you are holding it on a kind of a weird angle, really, to make sure no water gets on your phone. I get it, and I'll be doing it, but just be careful with that. So next video will be how this thing fires up underwater, how it works. So I have seen footage with this this setup. I do have the latest iPhone. This rig, I'm not sure if I mentioned, again, not super lightweight with the carry stuff, but a lot lighter than using something else. And as it's not going to be my primary type of photography, it'll still be mainly land-based photography, I think this is going to be a suitable setup for me, and hopefully get some decent results. So next video about this will be how we go in the Galapagos, and then next year I've got a plan, well, part of the plan of our travels will be to head up to Raja Ampat in Indonesia and do some photography there as well. So let's see how we go with that, and I hope that's kind of a little bit helpful from what I've seen so far, and I'll catch you in another video soon. Bye for now.